Welcome to Huddle Up. We're back with another week, and Rob Clock with me again. Hey, Rob, how's it going? And our guest
Hey,
tonight
friend.
is our good friend, longtime Ship supporter and hero, Coach Tony Winter, player, coach, business and business office man or business department management, whatever you were. Tell us, welcome aboard, Coach.
Yeah, it's great
Welcome,
to be
Tony.
here. It's an honor to be here and a real pleasure to be with both Rob and you, Fran.
It's great to have you, man. Looking forward to this conversation. You were highly requested by a lot of people to get into this podcast, so looking forward to it.
Good, good, good.
Hoping it's for good reasons. Coach, I'm going to jump into it here, and I mean, from the day I met you, which actually was across the line of scrimmage at the one of the last alumni games that was ever played at Ship. As I was a guard and you were a linebacker, you were one of the most passionate guys that I've ever met regarding Shippensburg Red Raiders. I mean, huge supporter, loved the school, obviously. How did that passion all develop? Like, how did that all come about?
Sure. So, actually, well, I'm a Red Raider through and through for sure. But actually, I transferred to Ship from Lebanon Valley, graduated from York Suburban in '72, and then went to Lebanon Valley and played my first year there under Lou Sorrentino. Played lacrosse actually for the first time ever in the spring, which was a lot of fun.
Wow.
Had a great experience at LVC, but it was a little expensive at the time. I think it was like $3,500. So I looked to transfer at the end of the year, and a fellow co-captain from York Suburban, Lou Hoover, was playing at Shippensburg. So I went down there in the summer and connected with him and some of the other players and Coach Epley and Coach Dragonak, and decided to transfer to Ship and begin my career at Ship.
How'd that passion come about, though, man? You are like Mr. Ship to me.
Well, I played there for from '73 through '76, and then in '77 through '79, I actually went to Arizona State and pursued my MBA and coached football for 2 years. But I came back to Ship then in '79, and I spent a 39 plus year career at Shippensburg. So it's a long time. I only coached for 4 years from '79 to '82. Had a great time coaching. It was a tremendous experience. But, after 39 years, you become pretty connected with the program. But in 1990, I actually served on the search committee as a faculty representative for the head football coach. And as you well know, we hired Rocky Reese, and Rocky had a tremendous 20-year career at Ship. And I was very engaged with the program at that time, help recruit kids, help to start the golf outing to help him connect with alumni. So, I was still engaged with football, even though I only coached from '79 through '82. And got to know a lot of players through that time. And some of them are lifetime friends. I helped to recruit players like Dave Schlecka, Eric Little, Brian Gilbert, Chris Heilman, Kevin Washington. I mean, the list goes on. And some of those guys are lifetime friends. And then, Coach Mack took over. And I knew him from a player back in the late '80s, early '90s. And he became head coach in 2011. And I was very supportive of the program at that time. So if you look at it, 40 plus years at Shippensburg as a player, as a coach, as a faculty member, administrator, you're going to become passionate, and your blood is going to turn red and blue. And so that's the story. And now with the RR4L, Red Raiders for Life, it just takes it to a whole nother level. It really does.
We appreciate it.
All right, so you played in the mid-'70s, co-captain on a great team in '76 that went 8-2-1. Talk about some of those guys that you got a chance to play with and some of the coaches that you got to play for.
Sure. So as I mentioned, I actually transferred in the ship fall '73, and back in the day, you're talking a long time ago, you had the red shirt, so you couldn't play as a transfer. You couldn't play varsity. You couldn't play in the freshman team. And we actually had a freshman team at the time that played, 5-6 games scheduled, played some junior colleges, some small schools like Juniata. But lo and behold, I did play on the freshman team, even though I wasn't supposed to, along with some other transfers. We used fictitious names. And there was actually one game down in Maryland. I forget the name of the school we were playing. And during the game, we make a tackle along the sidelines, Vince DeBona and me. And the guy that was holding the sticks looks down and he says, "Hey, Vince, what are you doing here?" So needless to say, he didn't turn us in. We were okay.
That's great.
And got through it. But actually, in '74, then I started at linebacker along with Al Seagraves. The head football coach was Gene Epley. Gene Epley came in to ship fall of '72 through '75 season. And his defense coordinator was Ed Johnson. The guy looked like Dick Butkus, an ex-linebacker, just a great guy. Coach Rollins was a coach, a defensive coach at the time, who later I coached with, and he was a professor of mine, and now he's a lifetime friend. Dick Dragonak, I don't know if you know that name, Fran.
Oh yeah, I know.
He was the offensive coordinator.
Yep.
So we had a really good coaching staff, and Coach Epley really helped to instill a winning attitude and a winning tradition at Ship. So in '74, we actually went 7-4 that year. Played James Madison at the end of the year on AstroTurf. We really thought we were big time at the time, but every time you fell on the AstroTurf, you felt like you were falling on concrete.
Yes.
Yeah, it was pretty tough. But we ended up 7-4, 7 wins, which was the most wins since I think 1954, so like 20 years.
Wow.
So we had a good season. '75, we started out 6-1. We were ranked nationally, and somehow or another, we ended up 6-5. And it was an ugly practice after that last loss. Let me tell you, I never ran so many wind sprints in my life. It was brutal. So after that season, Coach Epley decided to leave and go to Virginia. So we actually had spring football with that head football coach. Actually, Dick Dragonak stepped in as interim head football coach. And then again, I served on the selection committee as a student rep to hire our next coach for the '76 season, which was Coach Joe Mark. Yeah. And I remember Coach Mark coming in at the end of the spring semester after spring ball. We had a meeting up in Higgins Fieldhouse, and we all sat down and was thinking, I knew him because I was on the search committee. But the first thing he says, he looks at everybody, says, take off your hats, gentlemen. So we knew we were in for a ride.
Oh yeah.
And, sure enough, we started out the '76 season. We thought we had a good team, and lo and behold, we went down to West Liberty, and we lost. We actually lost a couple things. We lost the game, and we lost our first two string quarterbacks to injury. And a third stringer stepped in by the name of Scotty Knudsen, who ended up becoming an All-American and a Hall of Famer. Yeah. So it really worked out pretty well. So the '76 season, we won the Western Division. We won a champion, and then we played in the PSAC Championship against East Stroudsburg. So we had in terms of players, in that '76 team, defensively we were stacked with great players. We had a defense that only allowed 12.5 points a game. We had 3 shutouts, which was the most, again, since the team back in 1954. And I think the next time it would happen was in 2003, where there were 3 shutouts.
Wow.
So we had a good defense, and offensively we were stacked.
Yeah.
I mean, we had several Hall of Famers, Tommy Henn on the offensive line, Averill Harris, wide receiver, Scotty Knutson, as I said, a quarterback, Freddie Glasgow at running back. And quite honestly, we probably had the fiercest and toughest and most powerful power I backfield in Division 3 or 2 at the time in the country, with Tom Lease at fullback, Renee Posey at halfback, and Fred Glasgow at tailback.
Yeah.
So we were stacked.
Yeah.
So we had good players. We had great coaches. With Coach Mark, we had Coach Wilt was our defensive coordinator, tremendous defensive coordinator, and Dick Dragonak was the offensive coordinator. And we had great assistant coaches. So it was the first championship for Shippensburg since 1957. So 19-year drought in terms of a championship.
Yeah, they said Epley turned it around, and then Joe Mark came in and kept it going. And
yeah, if you think about it, most of the recruits, well, all the recruits were Epley's when Coach Mark took over in 1976. But you got to provide the leadership and the direction to get the wins.
Now, you only coached, that 4-year window, and then one of those years was the year I played in 1981, where we went 12-1, and that was another situation where our seniors were basically Joe Mark's guys that were recruited by Joe Mark in his first year, and it was a great year. Obviously, a lot of fun, and talk about that experience for you. I know you were pretty hyped up. I see the Ship One license plate behind you. I remember that in the car. And we had some guys, like I say, just like your team. We had some guys. We had some guys on defense: Rich Pryor, Pizicki, Joe Brown, Ed Brown, and
we were stacked.
Had a great offense, a high-powered offense. What was that like, man? Did you know we were going to be any good?
Well, I came back in '79 after my 2 years at ASU coaching under Cush, and in '79, if you think back, the whole season seemed to be about playing Slippery Rock at the University of Michigan in Ann Arbor.
Michigan,
we were invited out to play them because they used to announce the Slippery Rock score at halftime, along with the scores across the country of major colleges, and people were beginning to wonder, is there really a Slippery Rock? So they decided to bring them out during band day, and we happened to be on the schedule for that game. We went out there. I think it was like the 3rd game of the season. We lost the game before because I think we were looking ahead. We crushed the Rock. We beat them 45-14, and but that was pretty much the season. We lost the game afterwards, but it was that was a tremendous experience for the players and coaches. And then in 1980, we got a little better, still mediocre season. But in 1981, Fran, I really think that things started to come together in a lot of different ways. We had worked hard. I brought the weight program in from Arizona State. We probably had a handful of guys at the time that could bench 300 pounds. And by 1981, probably 80-90% of the team could bench 300.
You're not going to pull out the weight chart.
I have. Yeah. And actually, Joe Pizicki is top of the mark on everything except the bench. That was Vince Zadrowski.
Zadrowski, yeah.
But anyway, we worked hard, and it not only molded us physically and built us physically, but it molded us together as a team. It really did. And we had great leadership, as you can attest to, with Dave Calvario. Our captains were Dave Calvario, Joe Pizicki, Rich Pryor, and Tim Ebersol. And we had great coaches. Vito Ragazza had taken over as head coach. Coach Monis was coaching. We had Coach Rollins. Just great coaches across the board.
I got to shout out. I got to shout out to Billy Heckler because he was a great.
Oh, Billy Heckler was Eddie Arndt.
Yep.
I hate to miss anybody, but we had excellent position coaches across the board, and players. You talk about Hall of Fame players. We were stacked on both sides of the ball in terms of, and the team. We went undefeated during the season, and we ended up beating Millersville in the state championship game. Then we went into NCAA 2 playoffs, beat Virginia Union, and that was a crazy game.
I remember.
Yeah, we were way up, and then it got way too close.
You're way too close. Yeah.
We ended up winning, and then lo and behold, we returned to Seth Grove Stadium, playing in the Division II semifinals against North Dakota State. It was an awesome opportunity. Unfortunately, we ended up coming up a little short. We lost 18-6, but in terms of a team, best record ever in the history of Shippensburg, and just a tremendous team, great player leadership, offensive line, which you were part of, was amazing. Running backs, receivers, and defensively across the board, the linebackers, defensive backs, we were stacked. And we got lots of accolades that year. In fact, one of the things we got, Fran, if you remember, is we were awarded the Lambert Cup. We went up to New York City to receive the award. And it's the best small college in the East. And 1981. So it was a great experience.
Great time.
All right, Coach, after football and after your experience out at ASU, you return to Ship, and your career at the university is as impressive as your career on the field. Talk about your role heading the business department and how you built it into one of the best in the PSAC.
Yeah, so again, I came back to Ship in 79. I actually was halftime football coach and halftime in the College of Business. Well, you well know, Coach Clock, there is no halftime football coach. That was
you had 2 full-time jobs.
That was 1.5 timer, and then I had a full-time job in the College of Business.
Wow.
Again in 79, I came back, and in 1981 we actually earned AACSB accreditation. It's the highest level of accreditation that a business school could achieve in the country. And at that time, there was I think it was 281 schools accredited nationwide and 9 in Pennsylvania. So we joined the likes of Penn, Temple, Drexel, Villanova, Penn State, Pitt, Carnegie Mellon, quite a group of schools to be associated with. And actually, there wasn't another PSAC school that gained accreditation until I think the mid 90s.
Wow.
Either Bloom or IUP. So, gaining that accreditation was paramount. And really what we worked hard in over the years in the College of Business, you guys well know as former college graduates, the core of any education is the faculty. So we really worked hard at hiring the best and brightest faculty and ones that were really student oriented. And that really made a difference in terms of, the students getting a quality education. And then we did a lot of things outside of the classroom. I was the business internship director for years, the MBA director. We had a tremendous business internship program where we really encouraged students to get practical experience while they were pursuing their degree. We had a multitude of student clubs where students competed in student club activities with regional schools and nationally. So the college experience for our business students was both a high quality, both inside and outside of the classroom. It really was. And I didn't realize how good my college degree was until I went to Arizona State, and I found out how well prepared I was with the education that I had received at Shippensburg.
Well,
I have to agree with that one, Tony. When I started teaching, I was a little surprised just kind of how much further ahead I was than a lot of my fellow young teachers. Like I just felt better prepared. I really did. And again, I owe it all to Ship.
Oh, we had an outstanding teacher ed program. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And it's still that way today. You know, I think we can feel proud that the university has maintained that high level of quality.
Absolutely.
Coach, you know, I know you were really responsible for the growth of that business department. And over all those years, you've coached, you've, you know, mentored, you know, you've played. Who are some of the people that really, you know, stand out in your mind? You know, whether it was an athlete or a student over those years that that really, you know, you're really proud to be a part of their life. I know guys like Josh Goodman credit you for a lot
He complimented you big
of your
time.
success.
Yeah, Josh was a great football player and a great student as well.
He wanted your tackle record so bad.
The thing that these guys don't realize is that I only played for 3 years, so you know
that's a good point.
You got to divide by 3 and divide by 4 and see what you come up with. But there were some tremendous football players, particularly at linebacker. Josh Goodman's one of them. We had Shane Maines and Ken Pickett. I mean, those guys were next level. Frank Duffy. Who's the guy who was on a committee that I got on a committee? Dan
Walsh.
Yeah, Dan Walsh.
Dan,
out of Cumberland Valley.
Yep.
This tremendous linebacker. I remember sitting in the stands at a game, and there was a kickoff, and it might have been the hardest hit I've ever seen in a football game. and say tackle made by Dan Walsh. I said, wow. Yeah. That was a great recruit that we landed at Ship. So there was just so many guys, Fran, over the years in terms of student athletes. You know, guys that you played with, guys that I coached, guys that, you know, I saw develop under Rocky, Coach Mack. You've had a lot of them on your podcast.
Yeah. Well, I know one of the things we hear all the time, Tony, is your name comes up on these podcasts. Guys who credit you for, you know, whatever role you played, you know, in their life, and sometimes it was more than just a coach or more than a faculty member. You've had an impact on people.
Well, I feel blessed to have had those relationships and have been able to continue those relationships throughout my lifetime. It really means a lot to me.
Yeah, I think a lot of Red Raiders are very appreciative of you, Tony. Thank you.
Yeah,
I'm just glad I'm just glad you're still my friend, because you and I every now and then got into it after college.
Well, that's all right.
It was the old linebacker offensive guard competition.
That helps to build a relationship. I never told you the story. So I did come back in '79 for the alumni football game. I was still out at ASU, and it was a great game. The team, the '79 team, ended up winning the game, but it was a lot of fun. I was up at 6 o'clock. I think I went to bed at 3. I was up at 6 o'clock. I stayed at Al Seagrave's trailer, and I had to get a spray can of paint at Pagan Fagan's to paint my white old Shippensburg helmet blue. So I spray painted it blue at 6 o'clock in the morning, but it was a light blue. So I sort of stood out a little bit.
No, I remember exactly. I was playing left guard. You were linebacker over top of me, and you had that light blue helmet on. And I'm thinking, and you were a little intense when you were playing football. And Tony's over there. He's like losing. He's screaming at me and stuff. I'm a freshman in my first game against these guys. I'm just thinking, who is this psycho?
And lo and behold, he later becomes one of your coaches.
Exactly.
Yeah, it didn't take long. Actually, you know, after that game, they had a little get together for the alumni, and I had a little conversation with Coach Mark and and President Sievers, and we were talking, and so they said, "Well, what do you want to do when you graduate?" And I said to him, he said, "I really like coaching football, but I just don't want to make it a career. I just see so much, transition that takes place over the course of a career. So I think I'm going to go into business." And I actually had a job lined up out at in Arizona. And lo and behold, about a month later, I walk in the football office, and Frank Cush's secretary said, President Sievers called earlier this morning, and he wanted to talk to you. He's going to call you at home tonight. And I went home and I said to Linda, I said, "President Sievers called the football office today." I said, I'm thinking he might be calling maybe to offer me a job. Because I started to think back about our conversation. And lo and behold, yeah, he said, "We want to fly you back, have you interview for a halftime." Here we go, halftime job in the College of Business and a halftime coaching position. Came back, interviewed, and the rest is history.
Wow,
that's awesome.
It's a great history.
That's fantastic. Oh, all right. So you are involved heavily with Red Raider for Life and our desire to grow the football alumni family. What are your thoughts on what RR4L is trying to do, and why is it so important?
Well, I think it's important on a number of levels. And, we've only been in existence, I think, for several years, 2 or 3 years, and we've already had an impact on ship football and the program. First and foremost, you look at the camaraderie that is created. It's bringing back people together, renewing old friendships, making new friendships across a multitude of decades. So it's really incredible, just the camaraderie and the family that we're building through RR4L. And then secondly, and maybe most importantly, is supporting Coach Mack and the ship football program. And there's no reason why we shouldn't, year in and year out, be one of the top football teams in the PSAC. We're having an off year right now, last couple of years, but really Coach Mack has been one of the most successful football coaches in the history of Shippensburg football. So this RR4L effort will help to, turn things back around and get us back on a winning track. And then third, it's about connecting with the student athletes and helping them understand, how important it is to stay the course and become a Red Raider for life. And we can help support them through mentorships, which we're going to start doing, through internships, and just being there at practices and games. They can see the ship family that's being created through this RR4L Red Raiders for Life initiative. It's just absolutely phenomenal. And I want to applaud both Rob and you for the podcasts that you do, which are incredible. You've done an incredible job. And then Howie Guarini with all his films and his football cards are next level. I gave one of my football cards to Bobby Boyle. He was down there. He was a linebacker, played when I coached. And I gave one to him, and he took it home, and he said his son collects cards. And he called me back. He said, "Coach," he said, "I want you to know this card would have been worth a lot of money, but it doesn't say Shippensburg State College at the top. It says Shippensburg University." Yeah.
You should have autographed it. Then it would have had more money.
I did autograph it.
Oh, good.
Nice.
So that helped out a little bit.
That's good. That's good.
No, there's no doubt that the Red Raider for Life initiative is already having an impact, and I'm just so excited to see the impact it's going to have going forward. It's really an exciting time for ship football and the ship football family.
Yeah, we're trying to grow it, man. And we appreciate all you're doing, Tony, as well. And the guys on the committee. It's a big group. And everybody always says Rob and I, but I mean, we got 30 guys really who are, who are pulling their weight to get this thing moving.
And the reality is, Fred and I are just having fun. Like,
This is true.
we really are. Like these podcasts, I look forward to this all week. And this is just, we
You
get to
guys,
BS with great athletes. We're football guys. We love to talk football. I mean, this is like, I don't know, sitting around having a couple beers and just BSing. That's what it is.
would you
Fran
like to
does
do
all the
this
hard work.
would you like to do this as a career?
Yes.
That'd be
Yeah, it
great.
wouldn't be a bad gig.
Gotta find a way to get paid for it. That's all.
That's amazing. I'll buy you a couple beers.
There you go. That's fine.
There you go.
Hey, Coach, just a couple more questions. I didn't really get into it too much at the beginning, and I really should have. I mean, you've got the football championship. You're a Hall of Famer, all conference, all-time leading tackler, for a long time until Ken Pickett took that number. But
And then Shane Maines.
okay, yeah.
Shane Maines,
That team was the Bermuda Triangle of death in the middle there, man.
Yeah. Look out.
Yeah, but then also handball champion.
Nose guard.
Yeah, I know. But also handball champion. I mean, you've done a ton of stuff. And I want to get what's the greatest moment? One great moment that whether it's football or something else, but
Ooh.
what's a big one that really stands out?
Well, we'll stick with football because I could get pretty passionate about family and grandchildren and all that.
Yeah, yeah.
But with football, it's really hard to come up with one particular. So I'm going to give you two.
Okay.
All right, two moments that really ring strongly with me. One was they're both 1976. So Edinburgh comes to town near the end of the season. The winner of the game is going to win the Western PSAC title, which we hadn't won since 1957. And this is 1976.
Crazy.
So we score a touchdown, 28-24. We kick off. They fumble the ball around to get the ball about the 12-yard line. Now, they had an All-American wide receiver, Howard Hackley. They had a running back by the name of Green, All-American. Somehow or another, they were on a 4-yard line, ready to push in for a touchdown. They went from the 10-yard line down to our 4-yard line in less than a minute.
Wow.
We held the first 3 downs. On 4th down, 6-1 defense. I'm playing middle linebacker.
6-1.
Yeah.
6-1.
6-1 defense, middle linebacker. They run a play action pass. So I have the back. I check the back for the run. I see the quarterback pull up to throw a pass. I open up to the outside. I see the tight end releasing to the corner. I see the tight end catching the ball. I feel my heart drop to my feet. I was crushed. I turn around and lo and behold, I can't think of the guy's name. I think he was even a referee when you were playing. Tall, gray-haired guy, big guy, throwing a flag. Howard Hackley, the All-American wide receiver, picked on Tony Noble, our strong safety.
Oh, yeah.
Touchdown nullified. We win. It's PSAC or the PSAC West.
Boy, that could have gone either way.
Could have gone either way easily. So we won the championship, and then we went on to play East Stroudsburg in the PSAC for the PSAC championship. We won the Western Division. So Denny Dowds brings his East Stroudsburg team to town with a 19-game winning streak.
Wow.
They had the longest winning streak of any level football team in the country at the time. They were stacked and they were good. Hard-fought battle comes down to the 4th quarter, 14-14. Jim Curley lines up for a 42-yard field goal. The ball hits the right upright and bounces out. They get the ball. They try a 50-some-yard field goal. Jeff Sense, one of our defensive backs, catches it. And look, he almost returned it. He broke it back down the sidelines, and he was breaking it back across midfield. And we just tackled at midfield, or otherwise he would have scored. Oh, wow. So we end up in a 14-14 tie. And we're on the field mauling around for 15 minutes or more. And all of a sudden, the PA announcer comes on and said, unfortunately, there's no provision in the PSAC for a sudden death playoff. The game will end in a 14-14 tie. And everybody went, oh man, that's everybody's disgusted. Now, the silver lining is East Stroudsburg had a 19-game winning streak. We
Yep.
stopped it.
Yeah.
The longest winning streak in PSAC history was
Wow.
under Vin Rambo in the 1950s with 20 games.
Oh,
Nice.
man. So you kept Vinton
So
Rambo.
we preserved the most consecutive wins in the history of the PSAC.
Wow. Tony, that's all we had. Anything you want to add or anything you want to say?
I would like to say something to the players, because they're really the main reason why we're doing this.
Mhm.
Yes.
I think, it's important for them to understand to be patient, to be persistent, to work hard, and to stay the course. And it's really important. I know Coach Mack has tried to drive this home with the team. Team success is more important than individual success. Granted, you want to play to the best of your ability and do the best you can, but team success is the most important thing. And I can relate to that as during my playing days. You mentioned Al Seagraves. My sophomore year, Al was making tackles on his side as linebacker and tackles on my side. So my senior year, I decided that I was going to try to play as well as Seagraves played when I was a sophomore. And I ended up having 27 tackles, which was a school record. And I remember my dad coming up to me after the game and said, "Hey, you played a great game. You were outstanding." I looked at it, I said, "Dad," I said, "it really doesn't mean anything." I said, "We lost." And so going back to that, it says, we is greater than me. And they need to understand that. And they also need to understand if they work hard and they stay the course, good things are going to happen at Ship and beyond Ship as they become a Red Raider for life.
Yeah.
And that's what we're hoping to have happen. Have them become Ship alumni and Red Raiders for life.
All right. Well, Coach, thanks a million for joining us, man. It was great. Great stories, great memories, and proud to be a part of your life and all that you accomplished at Shippensburg University.
Well, I feel blessed to have spent 40 plus years at Ship and to have so many lifelong friendships through that time. It's been just simply outstanding. Great. And I'm looking forward to seeing the RR4L have a tremendous impact on Ship football going forward. Good things are going to happen under Coach Mack.
Thank you, Tony.
Dude, thanks a lot, Coach.
Thank you, Rob.
Thanks for the
Thanks,
time.
Fran.
You bet.
Go Big Red.